Hello everyone. Alright, I've got one of the rare slasher films that doesn't have anything to do with video nasties. I just really wanted this split case. It was the coolest thing ever, so I had to pick this up. So, I am looking at Slaughterhouse. And I mentioned before, this is sort of a slasher film. Fairly decent film, but alright, what's so bad about this? Obvious thing to look at is violence. I'm going to talk about violence, but not in the way you think about it. Alright, so some of the very, very opening moments, and I'm talking specifically about the opening credits, is it's just horrible, It's stock footage of pigs being butchered and just really shows the cruelty that those animals go through in order to be put onto your plate for your selfish, gluttonous, barbaric bloodlust. Just from being pounded in the head with a jolt of electricity to initially kill them, their throats being slit to be drained, being tumbled, tenderized, and their hair being removed strand by strand, and finally just being cut right down the middle. It's horrible. It's absolutely disgusting. That's where I'm going with that. I'm not going to talk about the rest of the movie. You know, there's violence throughout the film as the part of the course for this kind of movie. But, this person that I was playing, they didn't even make it past that point. Just after seeing that, you know, the opening credits, they just shut the film off and never watched it. That's where I'm going with this. That's what I think the person who I was being would have done. So they wouldn't get to the point of, you know, fragments of decaying pig corpses, you know, thrown out here and there, you know, to really help give it that Texas Chainsaw vibe. Alright, so I think I'm done with that. What do I think of this film? Better than I was expecting. Not great, but it was not too bad considering what I was thinking I was going to get to. It has very much of a Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibe. Strong influence in this film. In a moment towards the end, there's a scene that reminds me very much of the bit after the dinner scene in Texas Chainsaw. Not the dinner scene itself, but after, where we're introduced officially to Grandpa. That's reminded me a lot of that. And it was one of the most effective bits in the film, I feel. Sometimes it's not very violent. Other times it gets there. Not in the way, if they had more of a budget, they might have done a little bit more. But one of the things that does strike me is the kills. How they all sort of revolve and, you know, are parallel of, you know, the butchering of a pig. I liked that idea. You know, the main setting is a slaughterhouse, you know. The guy running it, somebody else is trying to sell it, he doesn't want to, and his less than intelligent son ends up going on a killing spree to get revenge on the ones that are trying to take away his father's rightful property. So, and there's some innocent deaths along the way, much to the dismay of the father. There's some funny bits in here. It's not hilarious, but it's amusing, just partially because of the darkness of the rest of the film. So when there is a little bit of humor, it can kind of amplify it a little bit. Being a regular, like, straight up comedy, it would make for a dull comedy, but the juxtaposition elevates it, if you know what I'm saying. It's not a terrible film. Better than I was expecting. Definitely not the greatest. But if you're like a slasher aficionado, then this might be something you want to check out. Don't expect buckets and buckets of gore, but there might be enough to just keep you satisfied. And if you like Texas Chainsaw, then another thing, there's more of a chance that you will like this as opposed to something like Friday the 13th or Don't Go Into the Woods or something like that. It doesn't have that kind of feeling. Much more of a raw, gritty, has a bit of a theming of family. Very Hooperian in that aspect. So it's something I could recommend. Don't expect a masterpiece, but you might find it to be a decent film. At least I did. Much better than I was expecting. So yeah, that's about it for this one. Check me out on mine. If you have an idea for a film you'd like me to check out, let me know in the comments below. And I'll see you in the next one. God bless. Check me out on Mind Spit Shoot Stardust. Link description below. Take care, everyone.